aspera per aspera, to the stars through difficulties. Whatever the challenge, Kansas have always kept their eyes on the stars. Lawrence itself was founded by New Englanders who hated slavery as much as they loved liberty. During the Civil War, the slopes of Mount Oread ran red with the blood of victims. Kansas bled because Kansas led. After the war, geography and climate posed fresh difficulties. Like so many Jayhawks, my ancestors were tempted by the promise of agricultural abundance, only to learn the hard way about drought and devouring clouds of grasshoppers. Eventually they settled in and around Russell, where my dad ran a cream and egg station. He always boasted of missing only one day of work in 40 years, and my mother shared his values. When the Great Depression of the 1930s engulfed Russell, she went door to door selling Singer sewing machines to help make ends meet. At one point, we moved into the basement and rented out the upstairs of our house. Those were the so-called dirty 30s. And we had this powdery soil called dust carried along by the prairie wind. When it invaded our home, my mother would stick wet towels and rags under the doors and windowsills to keep the dust out. These monster dust storms drove some Kansans off the land, but not many, and not us. Then at a time when hope was in short supply, a voice of optimism came crackling out of the big old Philco radio we had in our house.
Let us unite in banishing fear. We have provided the machinery to restore our financial system, and it is up to you to support and make it work.
The sounds of a distant president brought the outside world to Russell, Kansas. And so did the silver screen of the Dream Theater, where the late-night owl show cost a dime, and Saturday matinees featured the cowboy heroics of Hoot Gibson. My mother made certain I kept up my grades in school, but my greatest interest was in football, basketball, and track. After school and weekends, I worked as a soda jerk at Dawson's drugstore. And behind the fountain, I outgrew my shyness and developed a knack for one-liners. A good laugh was always on the house at Dawson's drugstore. Nobody in my family had ever had the opportunity to go to college. A local banker loaned me $300. In the fall of 1941, I went off to Lawrence, hoping to become a doctor. For $12.50 a month and all I could eat, I waited on tables at the Kappa Sigma fraternity. I was at the frat house on Sunday afternoon, December 7, 1941, when a news flash came over the radio.
We interrupt this broadcast to bring you this important bulletin from the United Press. Flash, Washington. White House announces Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor.
Nothing was to be the same after Pearl Harbor. For a while longer, I competed in track and basketball. By my sophomore year, however, it was clear that my plans, like everyone else's, would have to change. At Christmas in 1942, I enlisted in the Army Reserve Corps. The following June, I left KU in Kansas for a world at war.